6 weeks. That was the optimistic timeline the administration laid out to completely wrap up operations against Iran. Instead, the offensive has stalled out, and American forces find themselves bogged down in a stagnant, unpredictable maritime standoff. This map shows exactly why the conflict froze. This is the Strait of Hormuz. At its narrowest point, it's barely 50 kilometers wide. Through this tight corridor flows 20. With zero prior planning, the administration suddenly announced a total double blockade of the strait. This visualization shows the logic they banked on. U.S. estimates suggest Iran only has 14 days of oil storage capacity. If you block their ships from exporting for 2 weeks, their tanks overflow, forcing a total shutdown of extraction wells. The administration rushed to frame this tweet as a masterstroke, but executing a total blockade on a whim, without a clear military contingency in place, risks devastating the global economy long before those 2 weeks run out. Almost immediately, Military Central Command realized the fatal flaw. You can't park American warships inside a 50-kilometer corridor filled with drifting mines. To avoid direct fire, CENTCOM had to expand the blockade line, moving it 300 kilometers out to sea. This expanded perimeter leaves the U.S. fleet isolated in open water, well within the reach of Iran's proven asymmetric warfare tactics and coastal anti-ship missiles. Then there's the China problem. Up to 90% of Iran's oil is purchased by China, moving across the ocean on unnamed sanctioned ghost ships. And right now, those ships are sailing directly through the blockade. Washington knows exactly where these vessels are, but intercepting a Chinese ship means triggering a direct physical confrontation with the world's largest consumer of oil. The administration simply does not have the political stomach to enforce their own rule. A blockade that allows its primary target's biggest customer to walk right through the front door has ceased to be a strategy. It is now a liability. Even a porous blockade causes immense damage. With a military presence dialed up, maritime insurance costs have spiked to unsustainable levels, paralyzing neutral commercial shipping. Look at a country like India. They rely heavily on the Strait of Hormuz for liquid petroleum gas. Because they lack the geopolitical leverage to challenge either side, ordinary citizens are suddenly struggling to afford cylinders for their own kitchens. It creates an impossible trap for energy-poor allies. They are forced to choose between violating U.S. sanctions or watching their domestic fuel lines run completely dry. And the pain always travels back home. In just 1 month, domestic fuel prices in the U.S. surged 30%. Citizens who were promised an era of economic prosperity are suddenly staring at gas station signs crossing $7 a gallon. The maximum pressure campaign effectively places a premium on the world's basic energy needs, with the heaviest cost falling on domestic consumers. This chart shows exactly why a failing blockade is still being pushed. The administration's domestic approval rating has plummeted to -43%, the lowest in modern history. For context, Richard Nixon's approval hit -42% during his final week in office, right before his resignation. The current administration is staring at terminal political collapse. To maintain their standing, they are tethering themselves to overseas allies. American officials are now providing detailed daily briefings directly to the Israeli Prime Minister, a leader navigating his own severe corruption and war crime allegations. The maritime crisis coincides with a bizarre series of domestic PR moves. While the blockade was failing, the First Lady released an abrupt public statement denying any relationship with Jeffrey Epstein or the release of his files. The double-blocked maritime crisis serves as the ultimate geopolitical diversion, providing a high-stakes distraction as leadership faces a minefield of criminal allegations and social scandals. This immense pressure is resulting in increasingly erratic behavior. The president recently launched a public attack against Pope Francis, calling the religious leader weak on crime. He followed that up with a social media post where he allegedly depicted himself as a divine figure, only to delete it shortly after. This string of unhinged decisions has triggered serious, quiet conversations in Washington. Former intelligence directors are publicly discussing the 25th Amendment, the constitutional mechanism designed to remove a president deemed mentally unfit for office. The American public and military experts have seen enough. Domestic support for the intervention is gone, replaced by mass protests demanding an immediate cessation of hostilities. 6 weeks ago, this conflict was sold as a quick path to regime change in Tehran. Instead, Iran has unified against the West, And the true crisis of leadership is happening squarely in Washington.